morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at the new best Pokemon deck. Over in Expanded, there is a new deck. A lot of people are playing it, and it seems at this stage pretty much to be confirmed as the best deck. Now, bad news, it's an Expanded deck. Good news, Japan's Expanded is basically the same as ours, so this entire deck is going to be perfectly legal in Expanded the second that Cosmic Eclipse actually makes its appearance, which is quite nice. Now, we did talk very recently about a deck over in Japan that it was an annoying hand disruption deck that relied around Garchomp and Giratina, and long story short, enough cards got banned that it killed the deck. Alright, cool. So what about this new deck? Well, it's all based around darkness and dragons. It's Dark Dragons. Let's have a gander, shall we? Now, the most widely played Pokemon in the deck is actually Zoroark and Greninja. Greninja and Zoroark, if you want to use a real name of the card. Now, this is a card that came out in Unbroken Bonds and has been seeing a little bit of play in Expanded. No real play in Standard. Has been fairly underwhelming. But the best thing about the card is 1 darkness, 1 colorless energy, 30 damage for all the darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Get lots of darkness energy out. Smash. Now, the GX attack here, 1 darkness, 1 colorless energy. Put 2 in any combination of darkness, GX, and EX from the discard pile onto your bench. And if you've got 3 energy on Greninja and Zoroark total, you also attach 2 energy from your discard pile to each of them. And then, of course, that beefs up your main attack here. Cool. So what else are we doing here? Well, there is another attacker we're using. This is where the dragons really come in. And it is the Creation Trio. Arceus, and Dialga, and Palkia Tag Team GX. Now, you've got an attack here which is quite nice. 1 water, 1 metal, 1 darkness. 150 search your deck for free basic energy. Attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. It is, in all honesty, quite nice for getting energy out. But what we're really worried about here is the GX attack. For 2 energy, double dragon energy, what you can do is just set up your board essentially so that for the rest of the game, all your Pokemon do an extra 30 damage and all of your Pokemon now take an extra prize card when they take a KO. Oh, well, that's pretty tasty. So that's why you're probably never going to end up using Greninja and Zoroark's GX attack. You want to use the Creation Trio's GX attack so that every time you take a KO, you're taking an extra prize. I mean, literally, right, you KO something like a Jirachi, a 70 HP Jirachi, and you're taking 2 prizes. Yeah, that's why we want to use this GX attack. It's pretty spectacular. And generally speaking here, our aim is going to be use a GX attack on the Creation Trio, smash with Greninja and Zoroark, profit. Now, there are some other Pokemon we're playing in the deck. One of the cool ones we're playing here is Darkrai GX. And if we're ever looking for a Pokemon that's taking advantage of darkness energy, we're going to be using Darkrai GX. And the reason is it's got a phenomenal ability. If it is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench and then attach a darkness energy from your discard pile to it. Now, it's actually got a really nice GX attack, free energy, and if your opponent's Pokemon is affected by a special condition, instant KO. And you do play Hypnotoxic Laser to take advantage of that. So you will use this GX attack sometimes, even though you've got the Creation Trio. But largely here, what it's going to do is get an extra energy onto the field for Greninja and Zoroark. And then we actually have Giratina EX. It's back! Giratina EX, well, it's essentially a double dragon energy and 2 colorless. And it does 100 damage, but your opponent cannot play any tools, special energy, or stadium cards from their hand during their next turn. So if you're against a deck that relies on special energy, stadiums or tools, this will block them out quite nicely. Now it also has immunity from Mega Pokemon. And although Mega Pokemon aren't seeing a huge amount of play at the moment, I did do a video recently showing you how the new cards we're getting can make Mega Rayquaza a little bit broken, so it's quite nice to have a strong answer to that, or any other Mega Pokemon that might suddenly become really good. Does quite a lot for one card. Now we've then got one Shaman, one Tapu Lele, one Dedenne. They are the free consistency Pokemon we've got, and you've got your choice of any of them. It's expanded. You can go nuts. Now in terms of energy, we play 4 Double Dragon Energy. It works with Giratina. It works with the Creation Trio. But if we go back to the wording of Greninja and Zoroark, this attack does 30 more times the amount of darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Doesn't say basic, just says darkness. And Double Dragon Energy, when attached to a Dragon Pokemon, is essentially 2 darkness energy, so 1 energy attachment does 60 extra damage. And this is another thing that Giratina does. It is a 2 prize, rather than a 3 prize, Dragon Pokemon. And it's got big beefy HP. And sometimes you won't use it for the ability and you won't use it for Chaos Wheel. You'll literally just stash a Double Dragon Energy on there rather than stashing on a free prize Pokemon. It's very cool. Other than that, we just play a pile of Darkness Energy because this deck revolves around Darkness Energy. But seriously, being able to use Double Dragon Energy with a deck like this is a really cool trick. Now, in terms of your trainers here, we are really going full expanded. This is not a deck that is in any way, shape or form going to work in standard. Even though the main Pokemon, by which I mean Greninja and Zoroark and the Creation Trio, are legal, this is an expanded deck through and through. We've lost Darkrai incidentally as well, but no. And we've also lost Double Dragon Energy. But even the trainer line here, this is an expanded trainer line. We are using Battle Compressor. Why are we using Battle Compressor? It puts 3 cards in the discard pile. That includes Darkrai. And it includes Darkness Energy for Darkrai or Dark Patch. Yep. Dark Patch attaches a Darkness Energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Darkness Pokemon. You need your Darkness Energy in the discard pile. That's where Battle Compressor comes in. Incidentally, we also play 4 Versus Seeker because it's expanded. It gets your supporter cards back, but it's also really nice that you can discard supporter cards with Battle Compressor and then bring them back with Versus Seeker. Firstly, it makes the deck more consistent, but secondly, it actually lets you choose which supporter card you're actually going to be using, which is very cool. Quick side note here, one of the supporters we play here is Hexmaniac. That is actually banned in our expanded format, so sorry about that, you're not going to be able to use it. But we have Ace Roller to do a little bit of healing. You're playing big Pokemon, that's kind of important. We've got Guzma to grab Pokemon off the bench, only need 1 because of Versus Seeker. N as both a draw card for yourself and to slow down your opponent. They take a big lead, put them down to a small hand. And for Professor Sycamore, this is your main draw card of choice here, because you really don't mind discarding cards. You don't want to discard Double Dragon Energy. Other than that, you don't really care. But remember, you're playing Battle Compressor and Versus Seeker. There's a decent chance you can avoid playing Sycamore if you really want to, especially with Shaman and Tapu Lele in the deck. You should be alright. Now, in terms of our Pokemon search, we're just playing 4 Ultra Ball. Firstly, it gets any of your Pokemon into your hand, so you get to use the abilities. Yes, I know Nespal will get all of these Pokemon, but you don't get the ability, so that's pretty bad, because they go straight onto the bench. But also, discards cards from your hand. That's going to be pretty nice. We do actually play a few Pokemon tools here. We got Floatstone to get Pokemon out the active, but we've also got Fighting Fury Belt. Bit of a blast from the past. The thing is, Fighting Fury Belt gives you an extra 40 HP, and means you do an extra 10 damage if you're a basic, which you will be because all these Pokemon are basic Pokemon. Cool. Our stadium of choice here is Chaos Vortex. It basically means that if your opponent plays a stadium to replace it, that new stadium gets discarded without doing anything, and it's nice for a whole bunch of stuff, but maybe your opponent wants Skyfield to build up a big bench with something like Zoroark. Ha, gutted. Maybe they want Power Plant, which is going to turn off all of your abilities. Well, gutted they can't. Or literally any other stadium they want isn't going to work. We also see 2 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser, as we mentioned earlier. Largely, this is there for Darkrai's GX attack, but you could also use it just for doing a little bit of extra damage. There is no Burbank City Gym here, so it really is just there to do a tiny bit of damage and make sure that your opponent's Pokemon is poisoned. We got 1 Field Blower to get rid of tools and stadiums. And we've got 3 copies of Max Elixir. Look, I've told you we want energy out. I've told you we're playing Double Dragon Energy to cheat extra energy out. I've told you we're playing Aqua Patch to cheat extra energy out. So why would we also not be playing Max Elixir? Look at the top 6 cards of your deck. If you find a basic energy, attach it to one of your benched basic Pokemon. Well, it doesn't matter where the energy goes, as long as it's on the field, you do more damage with Greninja and Zoroark. All your Pokemon are basic, so the only thing you've got to worry about is hitting the energy. Now, playing 3 Max Elixir and 10 basic energy, you're not going to hit all of them every game, but you'll hit a few, and that will be lovely. And then your ace spec of choice here is Computer Search. The rule is simple. If you're really good but you need to get set up, you play Computer Search. If you're going to get set up nicely but you need a little bit of reusing, you play Dowsing Machine. You're playing Computer Search, you need to get set up. This is a phenomenal deck. It is the best deck in Expanded in Japan, and I see no reason why it shouldn't become the best deck in Expanded as soon as Cosmic Eclipse comes out over here. It's a phenomenal deck. So there we go. But I'd like to know what you think about it, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.